It's okay, I don't mind. I'm not going to get mad at anyone. Okay. But to get down and actually make a real video. I don't like video. It killed the radio star, you know? Damn that video. I'm surprised the priest didn't investigate. Do you know anything about the person? Why do you think he went for someone called Radio Star? Is it because they had a really good voice, but people wouldn't listen to them and got them to direct their attention at things that had sound and picture? You know? And what does that mean? It's just another way to stick things up your ass, right? Let's find this video a person and we'll show them what we can stick up their asses. Show us. Anyway, let me get the idea. Video killed the radio star. Are there really radio stars? I guess there are. There still are radio stars. Yeah. Shock jocks, they call them. Right? They're sort of professional, famous sociopaths. Right? It's like they're on cocaine or something. They're all super confident, friendly. They know how to take and give a few jabs here and there. They talk to important, scary, kooky people. And they always are intelligent enough to talk about politics and economics, as though they have some commanding say in the world that you do not, or could, if you only lashed yourself to the armada of mental and magical ships which daily dart out of their mouths and into your waiting orifice. Across the sea and the currents of invisible electromagnetic waves moving through time, leading you like the bow of the Viking ship to go conquer some shore of greater nationalism. More freedom for everyone. Good times for all. No critics of anything. No one. The only people who criticize the psychiatric establishment are Scientologists. And it's just like, wow, this edifice. Entry system, there's always lots of people to go seek their help and to be convicted by them. You know, I would love to get some cameras and body cameras and go see a local psychiatrist. But it wouldn't be worth it because in the area, they're just so predictably barbaric and stupid. I'd like to go somewhere a little more sophisticated in the mainland. Go sit with like some real top-notch fucking psychiatrist and just tape everything for a period of maybe a year. And you could watch this conversation and analyze it very easily and see how they're controlling me. See how they're dominating the discussion from the word go. Just from even the letters on their door. It's like going to see a warden for the human emotional body, right? Hello there. Hi, my name's Landon. Oh yes, this is Lyle. You're okay with the $200 a minute charge after the first 30-second consultation? We could just hook up an enemoscope and have various electrodes buzz you and get your brain to enjoy the kind of current that can be created as we begin to help you and suck things out of you at the same time that make your bank account ready to be filled up by even more successful labors as you go about in the world a better person than when you came all over your own face for money. But let's try again. My name is Dr. Juniper, and I'll be here to help you navigate the difficult world of healing and the reconstitution of your strength and confidence as a man. I can see to look at you that you've had a few nasty falls with the ass end of society's rhinoceros-like interest in your well-being, and you're smart enough to have contended with the strange and unwanted and conferred upon people, less intelligent, but more hideous than you. Why, yes, thank you, Dr. General. Forget all of that. That's bullshit. You're just a loon. I'm going to show you how to be a real person, get a job, and really, really, really stick your penis into a real vagina. Starting with mine. You see, basic can touch me across my legs. Ooh, it's so Freudian, isn't it? That'll be $2,000. And to watch these male and female psychiatrists who have all been sexually abused. Every single one of them. Right? Every single one of them. The intent of becoming a psychiatrist is to develop the mind of a sexually predatory person. It's the same thing. Psychologists, therapists, life coaches. But we don't have a sophisticated understanding of these things. At least no one takes troubles themselves to voice what they probably already know about these things. Because it takes a sort of detail to slow down interactions, because I've interacted with dozens of these types of people and I've recorded my conversations, and you can analyze it frame for frame and see how quickly they move from hello to total dominance of the personal space to all kinds of unsolicited uses of it in order to start defining and arbitrating for where the conversation is going to go, because you have particular needs that they understand better than you do. Both what's been done to them and what they think they can do to you. And it's totally habitual for them. And you're feeling while you're being paralyzed by this is just, what do you think? Well, you don't really want to know. Made them think that you're someone that needs their help. Is it just because you're there? Is it because you have a penis? Is it because you look a certain way, or lean a certain way, or speak a certain way? Right? It's a fresh meat. Start molesting me at will. And show me along the way just what kind of mind you really have, so that I'll never forget that people or women like you are walking around in the world. And thanks for that, by the way. And no, I don't want your email address. And as she's walking away, she's still saying things, making generalizations about who I am and what I'm going to do in the world. Right? She can't stop making blanket statements about me. Right? I told one young female sociopath once that I thought maybe she'd make a good mother, because she was trying to help someone in distress. She was actually bothering everyone, but and you could see she would totally flame out. And I realized that it was a bit of an inappropriate thing to say. It just fell off my lips a little too quickly. And you would say, well, it's not what I meant, but it's still like the English language. It's a little presupposing, right? And maybe a little inappropriate or creepy even. Why did I assume it should? Well, I've had women tell me I'd make a good father. It didn't mean anything. But I guess that was something she really hadn't thought that much about. But at the same time, what she was doing was trying to mother an adult white male that she had found. And she was making a nuisance of herself, which they got bit, and creating a problem that wasn't even there. And along the way, she told me a bit about herself, and that she was learning to be a nurse, and that they learned there's no such thing as pride or shame when you're being a nurse. And so it's taught her to lower her inhibitions. And she was doing things that to me were inappropriate, and approaching, a man in an inappropriate way, and approaching me and roping me in, roping another man, and eventually roping their same being into it. Really creating a lot of problems for everyone, for nothing, for no reason. That would be, something that's going to really help anything or anyone. Because she can't control herself. But I give all of that because she was young, and she thought she was doing the right thing. But so many become predatory, and her blood soured to me at some point. So, and when I said the word mother, I think I just sort of tripped it. And she had drawn a lot of disintegrating energy on a number of males by her activities that morning. She'd create a lot of problems. And you could sort of study, in a confined environment, how one white female who thinks she's doing the right thing, a sexual predator, a sociopath, can just destroy people's lives. They just walk around the earth looking like, and it's all in the name of help. Who can I disturb? Who can I disturb? Right? I had these white women living in a house I lived on the coast, and they would say to me like, oh, we can always watch you from our house, We're good security. We can always see you when you're outside your house. That's their job, was to stalk and stare at me when I was outside in the garden. Just creepy as fuck. right? They get involved in things. Their territory is like other people's lives around them, you know, in that way that, say, in your neighborhood, for instance, or in certain environments, let people be, You're walking on the beach with your children and some guy's getting a little too drunk, you just walk around him. You ever thought about drinking less and getting professional help? They don't want that. Lo and behold, unsolicited advice is a form of aggression. Your job to say that, right? So, and so on and so on. You just let it be, right? There's a lot of things we want to control in our life. But I walked down the boardwalk where I live one day, around one morning, and everyone I met, I said to them, do you know that alcohol kills at least as many people as COVID has every single year? Looked at me like, why are you telling me that? I just went around and let people know in a very matter-of-fact voice. They'll use alcohol, but they don't have any fucking clue what I'm talking about. And you include domestic abuse, and it was a group of females with the most aggressive, and the one leader of the party, the master of ceremonies, the psychopath / not quite alpha female. He's like, oh yeah, what else? That's no big deal. I said, well, there's domestic abuse. And she just sort of shut up for a second and then changed the subject and went on with her babble of monkeys, right? Because we're having a good time. And on that same boardwalk, I've been sexually assaulted and harassed by women every year, treating me like a sexual object. And I've been sexually and domestically abused by women my entire life. But I didn't get mad at them. They're just stupid cunts, right? Just ignorant fucking ugly women. And when women are ugly, it's so ugly. Like, you can tell that in the state of portrayal, she could not fucking empathize when asked to. She was in an intoxicated state, right? Entertaining all of her white female, right? She couldn't become sober, right? She wasn't sober, right? She was uninhibited, right? She was an example of what alcohol does to people, right? Do you have any idea what alcohol does to your brain? And you think, oh, it's just a nice little libation. Oh, let's put a stick here. So my sister and her would be more estranged. That's what keeps my sister away, because she deal with my mom when she's drunk, and my mom would be drunk, every day after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now she's not drinking, which is good, better for me. My sister talks to her more. Now my sister is bringing the spirit of intoxication into the house, right? She's she's basically demonically controlled as much as any alcoholic. So that's piping that energy in. And my mom, I've asked my dad, actually, in one of my rare communications with him, to perhaps get Lindsay to kind of lower her aggression a little bit. And then in the same week, my mom tells me, oh yeah, father again, he's a bad person. All this. And it's like, he probably tried talking about one thing or another. And my sister won't listen to anyone. She won't listen to cult. She won't listen to anyone. And my mom and dad give her all this power in life, all of this license to kill. And now she's like, she thinks she's a Labrador Retriever. She's like a teacher, but she's also kind of like that, or a Chihuahua that just wants to bloody your ankles. And then, this isn't about me, this is about you. Which is the classic alcohol drift of the mind. If you get the drift of a sociopath is, well, this is really about me, it's not about you. It's your problem. And think about how much society and the economic system says, if you don't become this guy, that's on you. There must be something wrong with you if you don't want a perfectly nice cutout little role for yourself. A Landon or a Susie shaped the economic world of civilization's best strategy for dealing with all the woeful, incompetent fucks that come out of their mother's wombs. Not really good for anything until we fill them up with enough vim and vigor that they'll go fucking kill themselves or others on a battlefield and every other job connected to that, so they can become economic slaves for the rest of their life, who, because they're playing different roles, always find a way to become uninhibited enough to have a good time, no matter how fucking deadly everything ends up being. Right? Don't fucking, don't talk about it. Right? La dee dee, la dee 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 dee. I feel like singing Christmas songs today. La dee dee. I wish my mother well, my daughter well, her strength. I brushed my teeth today. I was sending them strength in their bones and in their teeth. You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong, baby. That doesn't sound strong. That sounds like a gay pride parade. I don't care. You gotta be strong, baby. You gotta be strong like me. You gotta taste the blood of my own bones and cure your problems with leukemia. Drink my blood and solve cancer. Jesus' New Testament. Eat of my flesh. And so they don't have to give you chemotherapy. It's weird how Jesus really doesn't solve anything. It's like, sir, your body's riddled with cancer. Do you want Jesus or chemotherapy? Oh, door number 2. You pick the deuce. We got another deuce. Give him the deuce. Lay a deuce in his blood every 6 weeks. Sicken him unto death and make him pay for it and make him grateful for the opportunity to be sick all the time. Let your relatives see just how sick they could possibly be in the name of health. It's a tough road, but you know, cancer is a bitch. A profit-driven world of mass a bit cantankerous, but that's another story. A little demanding, you might say. I think so. If I was demanding as the medical establishment, you would not like me. If I were as in another world, and you knew that I was someone cool in another world. So, Phil Vinks medicine that day, I think it tells you things you don't have to say. There's power in knowledge we don't have to tell people. So, like, I don't have to deal with my sister at all. I don't have to the knowledge that I can feel, regardless of what she says, that she's pregnant. That's all it is. It's just predatory. She can't help herself. So, make use of that. Be like a child. Feel protected. The greatest child is as safe and sound as they should need. Growing and flowing in the blood of you and me. I should work on these things. I'm not very good at that. Oh, we're heading home. It's a pretty good. So far, I would say the only thing I really dislike about this walk is something that will change with time, which is how cold it is. Just not getting away from it. It's a tiny bit less bitter than it was yesterday. Still fairly bitter cold. It should change, even if I'm right, in the next half hour as I walk. This is basically the threshold period. Right here. I don't need to look at the clock to know that. I can tell just by the temperature. I can tell that it's gearing up to sort of flip-flop a little bit into a slightly more accommodating climate. But that's, pushing noonish. As I walk along, had a bit to eat, move my body around, flap my gums, do. Let's look at meanings in the forest floor. Nestled among the twigs, and R for divine feminine strength. P, Ophelia, female heritage. Algae's reversed protection of the earth. The sun in the earth. That even if there's no sun, Algae's reverse tells us we can look to the roots of the earth to find the sun. It is time to go into the deep rhythmic pulses of the sun in our own blood. Everything keeps us warm on a cold, cloudy day. Let the sun shine forth, even when the cloud doth cover his mighty raiment with a bitter and evil cold, which makes us want to curse our own mothers and our graves in one breath, which is what we do every day in the education system. But that's okay, because we're still alive, so we can pretend like it's not really happening. It doesn't kill us right away, so like a pathological FDA will prove it for the time being and never get around to attending to it ever again. We all agreed, aye, unanimously. It is now officially denied. Let us become more enthusiastic participants in all of the sports of human doom. Aye, aye, sir. We don't even know what you really mean anymore. That's awesome. Follow me now, my children. We're going to save this little wampum. This little wampum over here is thriving and sniveling on the ground. Even now it tries to form words about emotional injuries, which it can't possibly attest to without incurring even more danger upon itself. I got the biggest tree right near the room. Oh. If I could turn back time. So, yeah, I need to focus on good things. I don't really reject my sister's advances upon my home as much as I can. But then, think about dealing with codependent or predator. To trust your lower chakras. Stay away from them. Trust time. Make yourself comfortable. Enjoy the day. Know that there is some doubt, there is some rejection that can come across without having to enter into the fray, so to speak. Everything in you can just use denial at its best, but also just allow your system to naturally reject invasive human energy. Because it does. Let it. It's not like you need to do more, you just let yourself reject what is wrong. Reject unwanted energy, just as you walk through the world and show the world your self-esteem. Skunk energy, right? You let in whoever you want to. And I was walking by that group of white people, right? All in some sort of official teaching capacity. And then one white female just said, "Good morning," and I just ignored her. I hadn't made any eye contact with any of them. I hadn't taken the least interest in them. But you can tell they wanted my attention. I knew from the moment. The one skinny female stuff, she wanted my attention. She was interested. That's fine. But I don't have to pay attention to you. I don't have to. I've never listened. That one woman walking on the outside of this people, she wanted my attention, but she didn't get it. They're making a fun move. They're like, they want to go, hey. It's like, if you say hey to every person that goes by and everyone who wants your attention, you start to lose energy. And I'm not just giving people more energy. My time is worth something, and I may not want to give it to you. You know, not because I am worth so much, but my labors, working, are worth so much. There are things I'm focusing on. I'm cold. I walk here every day. You know, don't assume. Any body language that assumes I should pay attention to you, that's the last kind of person I want to deal with. Right? And they don't check themselves, because a lot of women think that men and men like me should make eye contact with them. And I've passed many women in the streets of many towns that don't seem to be under any obligation to make eye contact with me, or that I should, to answer my eye contact with them. Hello, you should be friendly. Hello to you. There's a certain way of responding. That's not appropriate, right? You have the right to be taciturn. You have the right to be utterly disinterested in my existence. Decided the right to be free from religion. I said to that older couple, right? Because they have the right energy. I respect them, right? Eye contact with both the man who's closest to me and his wife. No problem, right? These are nice people. That's it. That's all there is to it. And it's a good example. But groups of women, tour groups, I don't care. I'm just going to keep my head down and keep walking. Right? I remember standing this one crazy lady, Kim. She was taking a bunch of old women for a walk. And I stood on the side of the trail to them by, and I just said, hello, hello. And it was like, she was into it, so it was like a gay tour. All of them were like, hello, hello there. I'm Landon of the Woods. Kim knows my name. It's almost like we've been sleeping together for years. It's incredible. They put you to good use right away. They want to employ you. They don't start to ask you what you're doing or what you do in life. They want to put you to good use the moment they say hi to you. Everyone around them has a purpose. And if you don't now, she'll give you one eventually. That's Kim. Right? Everyone is her student and her child. Unless they're more aggressive than her, in which case, that's her kind of man. Or woman, as the case may be. Because they're not terribly discriminating about which kind of person have sexual relations with, which is pretty much what all their relations are. Sexual. But it's not about sex. It's about dominance and control. And a good deal of that dominance and control that people to think they're quite necessary to be able to exhibit in the course of their rank, style, and so forth, is nothing more than sexually predatory behavior of sex-starved, childhood-starved adults, quite reasonably many of the more ethical and celestial faculties of a child, certain economic and cultural and religious imperatives, and claims upon their flesh and the debt thereof. The debts of all flesh is, all debt is human flesh. And all money is validated by the flesh of children and the control of that flesh. The combination of the birth of new children, the voices of God, the voices of the female vagina, and the voices of the nature of man, and all the truth and agony, and all the truth of the agony of human existence, and everything that's hidden and everything else. And the denial of that flesh and the mortification of that flesh is what money represents. That's all it's ever been. It doesn't have to be, but it's part of the current and the leverage that's set up by attacking what you are, as though from within the biology of your own development in the womb, all the waters of the western baths of stars, the esters of the extensive range of intelligence of your blood, and coursing through your blood and coursing through time. the epiphanic nature of the sun and of human happiness. That's a fact. That's my home medicine. The first animal I was ever introduced to was a tadpole. My brother told me they turned into frogs. Isn't that cool? Nice. Thank you. You sound beautiful. I love that sound. Goes back to my birth. It's the medicine of the spring. We have the esters of our flesh. Western esters. The East has Esther and the West has Esther. What is this Esther of the East and West? What is this sun and sea, which also is number 3 and has 3 letters? Isn't that interesting? What do you think that means? Oh, mighty people of knowledge and education, please illuminate me. Is it nothing and gibberish? Oh, please tell us about the gibberish of the sun and the sea, and the letter C and the letter S, and how unnecessary it is to put it under such a consideration that might exhume the sun itself from what you call the languages of the world, and the serpent tongue of our monetary systems, of all kinds of suspicious levels of debt, stream through the powerful and persuasive symbolism, language, and magic of all scriptures, films, and television shows all over the world every day, and all thereof, and what is said and what isn't, and how human ethics is directed by a perverse pandemonium of deception and death, meted out by every hour of your so-called laborious lives. The first of which, of course, was to render up the stillborn flesh, attributed $50 billion to the exchange in the world, and everything else that comes after that. The balls are being played a fool, and there's not enough basketball hoops to put them through. Are you having a ball yet? Are you full like an ass soul? Ass soul is an asshole. It's the Yule of the Sol. Apollo is a Paul on the sun. I'm Saul. Both of them are tax collectors. Saul becomes Paul. Both of them are tax collectors. You put a pall on the flesh and blood of man in order to collect tribute among the most powerful religions in the land. That's how police work. They're tax collectors. Every religion is. That's how they increase and preserve their dominance, through taxation. What forms of taxation of human flesh, and based on gaining the greatest power to meet the persuasively aggressive demands of the economic system.